Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I got a couple of comments on my most recent video going over the Polaris ramming fixes coming in 4.1. Some were asking if I could test some different size ships. So on that one I just tested an Aurora, but they were wondering if I could test like a medium ship, large ship, things like that. So we are going to pull out a couple of larger ships and try ramming the Polaris with those and see if that does any damage. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so what I thought to do, so I'm at Port Tressler right now. What I'm planning on doing is I'm going to take several of these ships up, like above the station, and then just leave them there, and then just backspace because I can respawn at Port Tressler with all my stuff. And then bring a couple of other ships up, and then we'll bring the Polaris up there, and then we'll go through and try to ram it with those different ships, see if it has any different effect, go check the damage and things like that. So we'll go ahead and move those ships into position. Okay, I've moved the Vanguard about 35 or so kilometers away from Port Tressler, so now we'll just respawn, bring out the other ships, and then bring out the Polaris and test it. Next, I'll take the F7A out there. It's a little bit bigger than the Aurora, so we'll test that and just see if maybe a slightly larger ship does anything, and then get some of the bigger ships as well out there. Next, we will take the Anvil Valkyrie up there. Kind of a larger, on the larger side for a medium ship. So we'll see if the Valkyrie, and maybe if it's with its bigger HP pool or things like that, maybe that'll make it do more damage. I don't know. We'll see, but we're going to go take the Valkyrie up there next. Also noticing now, as I'm bringing the Valkyrie out, currently only one of the guns is firing. It's only one of the wing guns, and switching weapon groups doesn't seem to do anything. I turned power on and off and that didn't really do anything, so that seems like it's a little bit bugged right now. There were supposed to be the weapon changes where you can control the two wing guns as well as the chin-mounted guns. Right now it seems only one of the wing guns is firing, so it looks like that is a little something that's going to have to get fixed in a future patch. And then lastly, we're going to bring out the Hammerhead. So the Hammerhead's not super, like a ton smaller than the Polaris. I think this is like 115 meters. The Polaris is like 166 or so. So like a 50-meter difference-ish. So we're going to take this as the larger ship and see how this does in a ramming battle with the Polaris. So we'll take this up there, and then we'll come grab the Polaris, and we will commence with the testing. I think for the Hammerhead, something that could actually be pretty interesting for it is if they, because with the series of ships that they've given some pilot guns to, like the Carrack and stuff that didn't have any pilot guns, right now the Hammerhead, you don't have any pilot-controlled weapons. What I think would be interesting is if you gave control of the middle turret on the top there with those 4x4s to the pilot. I think maybe you could do something like that, and that would give the pilot, you know, a little bit of firepower if you don't have someone to man all the turrets or something like that. That's just a thought I had that's, you know, a potential for maybe something like the Hammerhead. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think you should be able to control any turrets on the Hammerhead, or you just need people to do it? I'm interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. Okay, I've got the Polaris pulled out now, so we'll go up to the other ships, and then I'm going to set my spawn point on the Polaris, so that, you know, assuming the Polaris survives these impacts, I'll be able to respawn there, and then we will go through and test from the smallest ship up to the largest ship. So we'll start with the Hornet, and then we'll do the Vanguard, and then the Valkyrie, and finally the Hammerhead. And then we'll see what happens, see if the Polaris can take all this. Okay, here we are. We'll go grab the Hornet and start the testing. Okay, we are in the Hornet. Got the Polaris here. So I think with the Hornet, I'm going to try and go and hit it up near the front here. Let me turn the lights on. We're going to go right around here between the turrets and go for this kind of neck area of the ship. Let me get lined up, and then we'll back away for a while. Okay. And to get up to top speed, I'll probably go, I don't know, 6-7 kilometers away just to make sure I have enough space to get to top speed to do maximum damage. So we'll do that, and then in a second here we'll start the test. Alright, okay, I'm about 7.5 kilometers away. So we are going to commence testing the F7A ramming into the Polaris and see what happens. After we respawn, hopefully, we'll go check out any damage on the Polaris and then go on to the next test. So, commencing test in 3, 2, 1... Okay. Looks like the Polaris is fine. We'll respawn and go check. Okay, let's see if we have any damage that we can see on the self-status screen here. I'm not seeing anything on my helmet MFD, but let's just go to this real quick. Looks perfectly fine to me. So yeah, I don't see any visible red areas. After we're done with these tests, if the Polaris survives all of them, we'll go and see what the repair bill is for all of this. So that'll give you kind of a rough estimate to how much damage was done. So that is going to be that for the F7. Looks like it didn't really do anything. So next, let's go do the Vanguard Harbinger and see if that does anything different. Okay, now we got the Vanguard. So for this... maybe we'll go in the same... maybe we'll go in this at the same spot on the Polaris for this one as well. Right around the neck of the ship. Get lined up here. And then we're going to back away. This one I might have to go a little bit further away because the bigger ships don't accelerate as fast. But we'll do the best we can. Alright, I'm about 10 kilometers away, so now we are going to test the Vanguard Harbinger, ramming into the Polaris, and see what happens. Commencing test in 3, 2, 1... Oh. Okay. That one was slightly different. Looks like the Polaris is intact, though, because we are respawning on it. Kind of looks like the Vanguard got stuck inside the Polaris for a second there. We'll go see. We'll go see if anything's different on it. Alright, let's see. Oh, well, from what I'm seeing, we look good. No red little areas, red pieces, nothing. So, seems like after the Vanguard, we're all okay, from what I can tell. So, what the... I don't think that's supposed to be like that. Okay. Well, we will now go test out the Valkyrie. That's a little bit of a larger ship than the Vanguard. Probably has a lot more mass to it. More heavily armored and stuff like that. So maybe that will make a difference. So let's go get in that and try with that. Okay, we got the Valkyrie now, so we'll go get lined up with where we're going to go at the Polaris. I think with this, we'll go on a different area, probably sort of the main body, probably this top part, probably the hangar. Let's go for the hangar door. So let's get lined up here. Alright. Okay, now we'll just back up for a little bit, and then we'll try and see what happens. Okay, so for this I went back to about 12.5 kilometers out. That should be enough space for the Valkyrie to get up to its full speed. So we will go ahead and test this out, ramming the Valkyrie medium-ish size ship into the Polaris hangar door, and we'll see what damage it does. So we will go in 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh. Oh. Okay. Not quite sure what happened there, but it seems like the Polaris is still alive. So in a second here, we'll go survey the damage. Okay, so we smashed into the hangar door, so let's see. I know sometimes when it takes enough damage, it gets, like, stuck open, and it looks like that did happen. So it seems like if you, with at least the Valkyrie and maybe other ships, if you ram specifically the hangar door, you'll do some damage to it enough that it will open like this, and then you can't, like, shut it or close it, but it's stuck open, so then you could, like, board the ship or things like that. Looks like we have like a wing gun from the Valkyrie that's just in here for some reason. So, okay. Let's go take a look at the MFD to see if there's any visual damage on the self-status screen. Okay, so it looks like we still have no visible, like, red points, red little pieces or anything like that. I mean, of course, there's obviously been some damage done to the hangar door to make it open like that. But yeah, otherwise it looks like the ship is doing okay, so we'll move on to our final test, which is testing out ramming the Polaris with the Aegis Hammerhead. So let's go grab that and get into it. Okay, we got the Hammerhead. I think for this test I'm going to go at the Polaris from the bottom, kind of here in the middle of the body. We'll line up here. Okay, that should be good. Okay, now we will back up, probably quite a ways for the Hammerhead to be able to have enough space to get up to its full speed. And we will test this large ship ramming, I guess you could call it. See what happens. Alright, I am 14.5 kilometers away. That's probably enough space to be able to get up to full speed. So we will go ahead and test the Hammerhead, which, I mean, you know, there's been concept art before the Hammerhead ramming into things, so I guess we'll see what it does. But we will test the Hammerhead ramming into the Polaris. We will go ahead and go in 3, 2, 1. Oh, this accelerates pretty fast, actually. Alright, here we go. And I think the Polaris is okay. Oh, okay. Well, when I respawn, now we got red lights everywhere, so that usually is a sign of damage. So we may have actually finally damaged the ship. But let's go take a look at the self-status little screen and see what it looks like. Alrighty, let's see. Oh. Okay, well, looks like we finally did some damage. So the main body section is red with this. Nothing else that I can see, but the big main section is red. So yeah, I think the Hammerhead actually did a decent amount of damage to this. So that's very interesting. That seems a lot more realistic to me, with those a lot smaller ships that just have nowhere near the mass of the Polaris, just basically just bouncing off of it. Whereas the Hammerhead, I mean, it's only like 50 meters shorter than the Polaris. It's quite a large ship. So that's interesting. Now, the last thing I want to go check now is, after we've done all these tests, let's go see what the repair bill is to fix the Polaris up. Let's go down to New Babbage and check that out. Alright, we are landed at New Babbage. Let's see what the repair bill is going to be after ramming the Polaris with those different ships. Okay, so it looks like our total repair bill would be 210K. I have a feeling the vast majority of that probably is coming from the last test with the Hammerhead. My theory again is with the new collision changes, I think it's supposed to calculate more based on like the mass of the vehicle that's colliding. So the Hammerhead is going to not the same mass as the Polaris, but a closer, much closer in terms of mass compared to the other ships that we tested. So it looks like if you're in medium ships or small ships, if you're trying to ram a Polaris, it's basically not going to do anything or very little. But it looks like if you're in something like a Hammerhead, that is going to do a significant amount of damage. I guess the only thing left that you'd maybe want to try out is maybe try like a Hercules or maybe a Star Lancer, something of that size that's still in the large ship category but a little bit smaller than the Hammerhead. But I feel like that would be big enough that it would have enough mass that it would probably do a decent amount of damage. But yeah, so it looks like this is probably how it was supposed to be from the beginning. It just didn't get fixed until now, but looks like you no longer can ram the Polaris in one shot with an Aurora or a Hornet or anything. You're going to need to give up. You need to sacrifice a big ship if you want to just ram this thing. Because again, that Hammerhead got toast. It got toasted. And the Polaris, sure, it's damaged quite badly, but it's still going. So that is, I guess, probably how it should be. And that's going to be about it for this test. Very interesting, doing some big science experiments here. So if you enjoyed this video with all this testing, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you feel like it. It really helps the channel. And keep an eye out for further videos testing 4.1 and other things coming in the next few days. And until then, I'll see you in the verse.